He didn't do it. I think the evidence will show that.
A man accused of killing a couple back in 2015 pleads not guilty, while his attorney says he's innocent.
People all over the world continue to mourn the greatest of all time.
No place in the world that nobody knew of Muhammad Ali.
Now, Muhammad Ali will be honored at his funeral Friday.
Tired of robocalls from telemarketers? What kind of technology lawmakers are pushing for to stop that?
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening. His attorney says they've charged the wrong man. Today, a man accused of killing a couple more than a year ago in Laurel County pled not guilty to the charges.
34-year-old Bradley Lawson faces several charges, including 2 counts of murder. Investigators say he shot and killed Donnie and Sharon Jackson during a robbery in March of 2015. Bill Pendleton is talking to Lawson's attorney about the charges. It's our top story at 5:30.
Bradley Lawson has been in and out of jail many times over the past 4 to 5 years. His most serious offense, of course, the most recent one, the murder and robbery that happened in March of 2015. But I've also learned that he was sent to prison just 4 years ago from a very similar crime in November of 2012. The file is about an inch thick, and the records show that Bradley Lawson was given a 2-year sentence after pleading guilty to wanton endangerment. Police say in that November 2010 robbery, the victim was beaten with a handgun after telling the intruders he did not have any money. On Monday, Lawson was not in court as his attorney entered a not guilty plea on charges he shot and killed Donnie and Sharon Jackson in their home in March of 2015.
No, he just didn't do it. So, I mean, that's all there is to it. He didn't do it. I think the evidence will show that, and Mr. Lawson's looking forward to his chance to prove that.
His attorney says there's not much he can say about the case, saying they are still gathering facts on why he's accused of killing the Laurel County couple.
This kind of came out of nowhere from my perspective. We found out on Saturday that he was going to be served with an arrest warrant.
According to court records, Lawson failed a number of drug tests during his release from some of his previous offenses, including his removal from a substance abuse treatment facility. And the quote that I found was that was for, quote, defiance of all reasonable attempts to assist and counsel him. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Now, there was a $10,000 reward in this case, but the sheriff's office tells us that because they made an arrest on their own, part of that reward money will be returned to the family and the rest used in helping solve other cases.
He's being remembered for his knockouts in the ring and for his fight for peace. Tonight, preparations are in place to say goodbye to the greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali passed away this weekend at the age of 74. The boxing legend born Cassius Clay took his new name in 1964 after joining the Nation of Islam. New at 5:30, Andrea Walker talked to leaders at the Islamic Center of Lexington about the impact Ali had on the Muslim community here.
When he was asked that really that touched my heart, what are you going to do after you retire? He said, I am going to prepare myself to meet God.
Muhammad Ali was an unmatched athlete, but he transcended the sport of boxing through his defiant devotion to Islam. This devotion made him at one time the most recognizable figure in the world.
For his actions, for his work, for his charity, I don't think he will ever be forgotten. Everybody is going to remember Muhammad Ali for generations to come.
On Thursday, a janazah, or Islamic funeral prayer service, will be held at Freedom Hall, the site of Ali's final fight in 1961 in his home state.
The more people that they attend the janazah, the better condition the one who's deceased.
The janazah is considered a rite in the Islamic community, and in the case of Muhammad Ali, Muslim leaders say to leave any of those rites unfulfilled would be a crime.
It is done silently. It is not, the imam does not recite except the saying, Allah is the greatest, Allahu Akbar.
Ali referred to himself as the people's champ and wanted his memorials to reflect that. Both his janazah and funeral will be open to the public with all faiths welcome. Reporting in Lexington, Andrea Walker, WKYT.
Muhammad Ali's funeral will be Friday afternoon at 2 at the KFC Yum Center. The service will be translated and streamed on WKYT.com. Former President Bill Clinton, Billy Crystal, and Brian Gumbel will give eulogies at his funeral.
Two former Eastern Kentucky school employees made their first court appearance this morning after being arrested at a party last month. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Magoffin County. Last month, police say they found 5 teenagers under the influence of alcohol at the party. Police arrested teacher Durrell Peters and maintenance worker Wendell King, along with a third person. Police say the party was at King's house. All 3 face unlawful transaction with the minor charges. King and Peters entered not guilty pleas this morning. They'll be back in court on August 8th. In Rowan County, a Morehead State University police officer injured in a crash last month hopes to return home soon. Family members say Sergeant Anthony Dalton is at Cardinal Hill and getting better every day. Police tell us Sergeant Dalton had just finished his shift and was heading home when his motorcycle crashed. He was thrown off the bike and suffered serious head injuries despite wearing a helmet. According to a Facebook post today, family says they hope Sergeant Dalton will leave Cardinal Hill this week.
New tonight, we have learned that Midway University has signed agreements with 3 St. Catherine College coaches to bring 3 men's sports to campus. Leaders of St. Catherine College in Washington County say financial problems are forcing them to shut down next month. The schools are working on transferring the men's basketball, soccer, and baseball teams to Midway this fall. Midway and 6 other universities are also offering to help any St. Catherine students transfer their credits so they can finish their education.
Well, after a weekend where we saw some rain out there, the work week is off to a beautiful start, and Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is outside enjoying it all.
He is. He's live at the St. Joseph Foundation Golf Tournament here in Lexington. Hey, Chris.
Hey guys, you know what? I was really enjoying everything out here. University Club of Kentucky, the tournament is wrapping up, so I was having a good time out here. Then I decided to come over here and work on my short game a little bit, and then all of a sudden my good time just went downhill quickly. I have been with my videographer slash caddy, Kenny Harvner, out here trying to read the greens correctly, and I've been trying to line up a couple of putts, having at least a little success. There's a wicked break on this one, and I'm trying to play it right because I was trying to hit it from way back a little bit ago, but as you notice, it's got that little downhill break there to it, so I'm still trying to figure that one out. Let's talk weather before I make too much more of a fool of myself than it already is showing right now. Weather-wise, it's gorgeous here across central and eastern Kentucky. Beautiful blue skies that are out there, and that's going to continue across the entire area. Those temperatures today only hitting the low 80s into most of central and eastern Kentucky. I say only, that's about where we should be, but with low humidity, gusty winds certainly felt good. With a cold front coming in from the northwest over the next few days, we are going to see the numbers coming down. We've got a blast of September air that is on the way as we go into the next couple of days. Could even be a spotty shower, thunderstorm, but believe it or not, this is mainly a dry week across central and eastern Kentucky. So it is a good week to get outside and do anything, even if it is working on your short game. And I'm going to keep trying to work and get this read down. Amber Philpott, maybe she can give me some pointers at some point with reading this wicked break that is out here. Hey guys, when I come back here in a few minutes, we'll concentrate more on the weather part of it. I've got September and summer heading your way in the next week.
Thank you, Chris. I know I can't help you at all, so Amber will have to jump in. Complaints over those annoying robocalls continues to grow. Previous steps taken to stop the calls failed, and now lawmakers in Congress are pushing for new technology that can block unwanted calls. Joel Fishman says he constantly received calls from telemarketers, better known as robocalls.
About a dozen on my landline and maybe another 2 or 3 on my cell phone.
That must have driven you crazy.
Well, yeah, they're a distraction. They're an intrusion.
Fishman is frustrated because years ago he signed up for the Do Not Call registry, along with more than 200 million other Americans. But it turns out the registry doesn't stop all the calls it should.
This is insane.
Sick of robocalls, Congresswoman Jackie Speier introduced legislation that forces phone companies to give customers the ability to block telemarketers.
Telecoms, you have to provide for no charge the opportunity for your consumers to not be bothered.
Many people already have access to the technology. Several phone providers offer a service called Nomo Robo. It uses a massive database of known illegal robocallers to block most calls. And for your cell phone, there are several apps that can identify telemarketers.
You don't want to answer the phone.
After we talked to him, Fishman was able to get blocking technology for his home phone, and almost all the calls have stopped. Congresswoman Speyer's legislation is pending in the House. Senator Chuck Schumer is introducing a similar bill in the Senate. A major reason why many companies do not abide by that registry and call anyway, and there is rarely a punishment.
I'm Bill Bryant. Hillary Clinton could clinch the Democratic presidential nomination tomorrow, despite a tight race in California. And leaders in Madison County asked for the public's advice about dealing with an overcrowded jail. The bottom line is on the way.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you, like WKYT on Facebook.
Hitting someone at 35 miles per hour is like throwing them off a 4-story building. A little extra speed is a lot more deadly. Slow down, Lexington.
A season pass to Kentucky Kingdom is only $59.95. And with benefits like free parking and dollar drinks, a season pass pays for itself in just one visit. And enjoy the rest of the summer for free. Stop by your local Kroger to get yours today. But hurry, offer ends June 7th at midnight.
Save on Purdue chicken drumsticks or thighs, 69 cents a pound. And Southern Yellow Peaches are just 99 cents a pound. Fresh food, low prices at Kroger.
It fell off the roof of my car.
It fell out of my backpack.
Oh, it fell off my grocery cart.
I tossed it to a really clumsy friend.
I tripped while jogging.
My 2-year-old had a temper tantrum.
It bounced down 2 flights of stairs.
No matter how you broke your smartphone, there's only one smart way to fix it. Batteries plus bulbs.
I dropped it on the floor, and he stepped on it.
Schedule your repair at batteriesplus.com.
Before contemplating the many choices on Steak and Shake's $4 menu, one must calm the mind in our Zen garden. Focus. The garlic double steak burger meal. Reflect. The taco salad meal. Zen. The original double and cheese steak burger meal.
Oh!
The $4 menu, where all meals are under $4 at Steak and Shake.
Do you want to lose weight quickly and safely? Do you want to be healthy for a lifetime? Kim did and lost 238 pounds at Ageless Medical Weight Loss. Betty did and lost 135 pounds. The Ageless program is a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution. Call today for a free consultation.
At Hair Win, we've been helping people for 125 years.
If you've been injured in a life-changing accident, we can help.
Contact us at helpingkentucky.com.
Hair Win. Visit helpingkentucky.com.
What we do is not about sickness. It's about living. Because you were made to live and live well. Let us show you how care is supposed to be. Lexington Clinic. Your doctors for life.
At the Joseph A. Bank one-day sale, all traveler suits are just $219. Plus, buy one on sale, get one free on all other suits and sport coats. And buy one, get one free on almost everything else in the store. Only at Joseph A. Bank this Tuesday, Preview Day Monday.
Hit me at 35 miles an hour. There's a 45% chance I'll die. Slow down to 25 and I'll probably live. A little extra speed is a lot more deadly. Slow down, Lexington.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Hillary Clinton could soon clinch the Democratic presidential nomination.
And Senator Mitch McConnell says he supports Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, but not his comments. Bill Bryant has details in the bottom line.
Good evening. It appears likely that Hillary Clinton will clinch the Democratic presidential nomination tomorrow. The former Secretary of State, U.S. Senator, and First Lady would be the first woman ever nominated for president by a major political party. She won the primary in Puerto Rico yesterday and is now less than 30 delegates away from securing the nomination. But Bernie Sanders is not giving up hope and is pushing hard in California, where polls show it tight. In the other big prize of the day, New Jersey, Clinton has a comfortable lead. lead. Sanders repeated today the Democrats will have a contested convention. A task force recommends building a much larger jail in Madison County, where the current facility is way overcrowded. The report says 85% of those incarcerated are there for some reason related to drugs. So substance abuse treatment is part of the early debate. Deciding the way forward may be a challenge. The cost of building a large facility would require the county to get money from somewhere, and leaders are asking for input and looking over options. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell supports Donald Trump for president, but is distancing himself from some of the presumptive nominees' comments. McConnell urged Trump to drop his criticism of an Indiana-born judge of Mexican heritage who is presiding over the Trump University lawsuit. Trump questions Judge Gonzalo Curiel's objectivity because of Trump's stance on building a wall between the U.S. and Mexico. McConnell says Trump needs to pivot toward unifying Republicans now. More than 200 local and regional business leaders from Lexington are heading to Charleston, South Carolina this week. The Commerce Lexington trip is designed to gather and share ideas. And Kentucky Education Commissioner Stephen Pruitt will host a virtual town hall meeting tomorrow evening. It's at 6:30 to hear how Kentuckians define school success. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Hey everybody, welcome back here, University Club of Kentucky, on an absolutely gorgeous day for golf or anything else. St. Joseph Hospital Foundation having their annual golf outing out here, 27 years in a row, by the way, where they have made an amazing $2.1 million for the foundation that does so much good for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Absolutely incredible. And the folks that have been out here today are loving life. They've told me the past couple of years it has rained on this outing. Today, this is what I bring. You invite me to your golf outing, folks, I'm going to bring you nice weather. Feed me as well. It gets even better than that. All right, let's talk about the actual forecast, see what is going on as we go through the next couple of days. The nice weather does indeed roll on. A little look outside, Defender Radar Network, nothing across Central and Eastern Kentucky. So let's go to the north. And we have a September cold front that is on the move, and that front is going to bring in some very nice air over the next few days. So basically, that is going to give us a blast of September as we go into the middle of the week. Those temperatures are going to be stuck in the 70s. That is a tough gig, but I think we'll learn to live with it. Muggy meter, not so muggy over the next few days, mainly into the comfortable category right on through Thursday and Friday when we continue to see the nice weather across our entire area. Longer range picture, now we start to see some big changes that will begin to blow in here as we go toward the end of the week and toward the weekend. Notice how in the short term, on Wednesday into Thursday, fabulous weather. We may actually start out Thursday with some 40s across Central and Eastern Kentucky. So great weather to start out this forecast period. Then look what happens as we go toward Friday. The numbers start to come up a little bit. We see some 80s creeping into the picture, though some thunderstorms could try to knock that down a little bit on Saturday. Friday, I should say. Fast forward into Saturday. Now we're talking about the potential for the low 90s into most of Central and Eastern Kentucky. That would be our first 90-degree thermometer across the entire area, so that is indeed at least a possibility. Not only on Saturday, but on that 7-day forecast, you see the potential is there for Sunday and into Monday too. So we go from September and flat out awesome to basically some summer heat this weekend. It is not a heat that is going to hold. I think it's around for a couple of days. Then as we go toward next week, it is a pattern that is going to turn very stormy, shocker there, across Central and Eastern Kentucky. And what that'll do, that'll keep the heat at bay. I suspect this is an overall setup we're going to see several times this summer. The heat's going to make a run at us, then every time it makes a run at us, it's going to kind of get cut off at the pass by some thunderstorms and another cold front. I don't think it's a summer that the heat's just going to set in. Haven't had a whole lot of heat around here since back in the summer of 2012. So that's a forecast that, again, has some big different temperature changes coming up over the next several days. I was playing with the putter a little bit ago. As soon as we went off camera, I nailed a 30-footer. Of course, it was about 1 of 20 that I tried, but still. So before I leave this one and we get to Don with traffic, this is a wicked break again. And close but no cigar. All right, let's check out traffic. Here's Officer Don.
I got a couple of things happening. Overall traffic view, we expect slowdowns on Nicholasville Road and Harrodsburg Road. Also dealing with a collision right now. On Nicholasville Road, this one is near Moore and the Circle, and we can see on the traffic camera from the LFUCG that the collision is causing some backups, obviously, for outbound Nicholasville Road, trying to get clear of that. That clears up just past the mall, it looks like, this afternoon. Drive times to Nicholasville, 15 minutes or so, to Versailles, 12 to 13, and we're okay into Scott County on 75. Now back to you in the studio.
Officer Don, thank you. Thank goodness we have videographer Ken Harvner out there keeping Chris Bailey honest.
30-foot putt.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, all right. It's been 1 year since the Triple Crown drought ended, Rob.
Well, American Pharaoh did it. Life a lot different for him now. UK football makes an offer, and Scal putting in a good workout Sunday. As the draft gets closer and closer, we'll check in with him next in sports.
Honey, did you order a walking Norman Rockwell painting?
Hey,
little sister.
Garrett? Oh my God.
The Silver Bells killer committed 6 murders.
We are not a family of psychopaths.
You may be entitled to $1,500 for every unwanted call made to your cell phone in the last 4 years. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
You know that old saying, there's 1,000 ways to slice a grape? Well, tell Arby's about the other 999, because we're still stuck doing it this way. Every morning, hand slicing grapes just for one seasonal sandwich. If Arby's does all this work for just one sandwich ingredient, imagine what kind of effort we put into the rest of them. I mean, is somebody back there cracking pecans? Arby's, we have the meat.
Flowers are important because they cheer people up, they make people feel better, they say sorry in a really easy way. And that's important to me because if someone's celebrating the birth of a baby or a graduation or some huge success, I get to be a part of that celebration. But every customer wants to be treated like you know them or like you are their friend. I promise, if you come in and get a bouquet from me, it will be fresh, colorful, made with care, and made with you in mind. Hi, I'm Amber, and I'm from the Portland Kroger.
Guys, I know this way! Yeah, wait! We can finally stop playing these wedding gigs and start rocking out! Hey guys, what's going on? Ready? I hope you got that ticket in the same place, bro!
Oh, it was Ronnie starting to get the ticket.
No, Ronnie. We let Ronnie go last week.
The only way you can win Kentucky's Powerball or Mega Millions jackpot is if you actually buy your ticket.
Ronnie!
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C.
Or wonder whether I should seek treatment. I am ready.
Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It transformed treatment as the first cure that's one pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Harvoni is a simple treatment regimen that's been prescribed to more than 250,000 patients. Tell your doctor if you've had a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness. I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
For all your hearth and grill needs, shop barnhillchimney.com.
Well, we are now only 17 days away from the NBA draft, and the stock of big man Scal Labissiere seems to be holding up, if not on the rise. Scal was impressive in yesterday's workout at the Relativity Sports Pro Day in Bradenton, Florida. Afterwards, Alex Kennedy of Basketball Insider spoke with him as to how things are going leading up to draft day.
I've been working really hard since the season ended, worked on a little bit of everything, so I just came out there and did my best, made shots, and hopefully everything goes well.
We were posting some stuff on social media, and people were like,
Kentucky just used him wrong. Yeah. There was so much about your game you didn't get to show. Was it nice to be able to kind of come out and show a lot of components to your game today?
It was nice. People say that, but Kentucky really helped me a lot, I would say. Coach Cal did a really good job at pushing me every single day at practice. In games, I had to learn a lot, at Kentucky. So I definitely think that's going to help me at the next level. So now everything else, is kind of easier.
UK football is the first to offer a scholarship to Rondell Moore, who played last year at New Albany High School in Indiana. Kentucky's offer is the first for Moore, who will play this season for the Trinity Shamrocks. He's in the class of 2018. Moore is a junior slot receiver. He goes 5'8", 165. He had 688 yards rushing and 464 yards receiving last season. UK does not yet have a commitment for the class of 2018. 1 year ago today, American Pharoah broke the 37-year Triple Crown drought by winning the Belmont. Many on Twitter declaring the 1-year anniversary as Pharoah Day. Life has changed a lot for the Triple Crown winner since that day. Now a resident at Ashford Stud in Versailles with his racing career behind him. He sometimes breeds 3 times a day in hopes his crop will produce future champion racehorses.
He's already, I think, got over 90 mares in foals, so he's going to have a foal crop next year of over 100 foals, so that will give him the opportunity to show his prowess as as passing on his ability. He's, I suppose, has to prove himself all over again in a way. He'll be judged on how well his sons and daughters do eventually, but he's getting every opportunity to prove himself because of what he did on the track.
In the next half hour, it's now all official with Brad Calipari. Stay with us.